Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew First Culture podcast. This is Jeremy again. I want to say thank you very much for spending some time with me today. So, today I just want to talk a little bit about kind of the mindset behind an article that I recently was very lucky enough and very thankful and very blessed to have published by Fire Engineering as an online feature. The title of it is Wait, Are We the Problem? And so if you haven't read that, I want to ask you to please go check that out because I have a lot of emotional ties to this content. And just in the, now less than a week that it's been out, I've really been blown away with the feedback that I've gotten on it, and people reaching out to me talking about how it resonated because they are dealing with similar things and they see similar stuff in their department and things like that. And so when when situations like this arise, it really makes me realize that you know these aren't these aren't problems that I am facing or that I am seeing or that I am dealing with or fighting. These are problems that we're all fighting. These are problems that there are many, many people out there that are struggling just like I am, whether it's something I am battling personally or something that I see, you know, in in the fire service or in a department or in my crew, whatever that I want to change. Just different obstacles basically that I face. And if I'm doing it alone, if I'm doing it and thinking that, gosh, why do I have to keep doing this? Why this? Why that? If I don't truly see the full big picture, which is, you know, once I put these things out there, once I talk about it, and I start realizing that lots and lots of people are facing the same things I am, well, it allows me to fight that I guess self-centered kind of thoughts, the victim mentality, and things like that. It allows me to put that aside because it's hard to feel like a victim. It's hard to focus on yourself when you start seeing that lots of other people are dealing with the same thing. And so that's really honestly I put the content out there. I write, I do podcasts. Everything I do is an attempt to, sorry, I'm losing my losing my Zoom here, and I'm just making sure it's working. Everything I do is an attempt to add value to others, is to use my life and the gifts that God has given me to be a blessing to others, things like that. And so once I do that, it it begins to feed me. Being honest, being vulnerable, and seeing what I am talking about help others. It's like it's a cool. It's just like it blesses me. So it's like all I'm doing is basically talking about what I'm struggling with or what I have fought or what challenges I've faced. Well, then it ends up helping somebody else. Well, in the times that they let me know and they thank me or they just kind of tell me their story and tell me how much they needed to hear it, well, that in turn blesses me. It's just like a giant cycle, and it's so interesting, and it's crazy to see how God works. But anyway, going back to the article, if you haven't read it, I want to please just really try to push you to go do that. It's not super long, but I think there is some stuff in there that we all need to take a look at. We all need to sit and think about. This is an article that really it puts us on the hot seat as far as individuals. This article was put out to really spotlight what our individual responsibility is for where the fire service is going and where we're at, especially those of us that have 15, 20, 25 plus years on. You know, the central idea of the article is that that's where I'm at. I've got 21 years on. I I am now kind of in that range of being considered the older crowd, the senior crowd. This is the group of people that is responsible for taking these younger generations to better places than we were. But are we doing that? Or are we truly doing that? Or are we so comfortable in the ways that we learned 20 years ago that we aren't adding value to anybody because the value we have, it's lost value. It's depreciated in that 2 decades since we learned it. It's worthless. If we aren't continually adding value to ourselves, then the knowledge, the skills, the experience, the abilities that we had when they were useful and when they were, top of the line and when they were effective, over time, if you aren't continually adding to that, refreshing it, keeping it relevant, then it will become worthless. And so, like I said, the feedback that I've already gotten proves that point very clearly, that this is a widespread issue. We, especially as the experienced people of the fire service, we have got to step up and take responsibility for our education, for our continual education, for our continual growth, developing that constant growth mindset that we are always looking to learn and grow and get better every day. Because, like I said, if we aren't doing that, then it doesn't take very long and we turn around and all of a sudden we're irrelevant. And here's where the problem compounds. We as senior people, we get this chip on our shoulder and we get this ego and we get this and I'm losing the word and it's really irritating me because I need this word. You are entitled. We get this entitlement that we are owed something because of our status. We are owed the ability to lay around more because we've been here longer. We are owed the ability to be served and not have to wash dishes or cook. We are owed the ability to just be able to keep the same skill set that we've always had because it's always worked. And none of those things are accurate. None of those things are going to make anybody better. None of those things are going to make the fire service better. We like to see, as we get seniority in the fire service or on a department or whatever your job is, we like to think that our responsibilities go down. And that's absolutely absurd. I mean, in what other area of life does it work like that? It doesn't work like that just in life in general. It doesn't work like you get older and you have kids and you have a career, then you have a house to pay for. Your responsibilities go up, they don't go down. If you look at it from a perspective of just a general career, you're new, there's not a lot of expected out of you. You start gaining experience, there's more expected out of you. You start promoting and gaining that kind of responsibility, so there's more and more and more expected of you, and that does not change when we are talking about just the basic idea of seniority in the fire service. I don't care what your title is. I don't care if you want to be a firefighter the rest of your career. I don't care. I appreciate having really, really good senior firefighters that have been doing it for 20 plus years on my crew. I love it. But if that's what you're going to do it the best you can and do it like somebody that's been doing it for 20 years should be doing it. You should know that job in and out. You should be up on, you know, any kind of new material that comes out, new equipment that comes out. I'm not saying it's all great, but you should know about it. You should want to be trying it out just to see. You cannot get comfortable in this job the older you get, the farther along you get. You cannot get comfortable. You cannot expect to have less responsibility. I'm so tired of seeing people talk about this younger generation where they don't want to work. Okay, I'm not going to discount somebody's opinion because I don't work at every department. So, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of what you have experienced is exactly that. But I'm going to tell you right now that in my limited experience of my department and what traveling I have done and meeting other people from all over America, that is so far beyond the truth. It's not the younger people that aren't willing to work. It's the experienced people that we're having to drag like a freaking boat anchor. And so again, I'm not saying this, I'm speaking for everybody, for every department. Not every new person is excited and raring to go and has an intense passion and drive for the fire service. And not every older firefighter is a slug and lazy. I'm not saying that, but overall, we've got to do a better job of doing our job, sharing our job, learning our job. One of the comments I read yesterday, and I didn't even know how to respond to it. I just kind of ignored it. It wasn't addressed to me anyway. It was on uh somebody else's page that they shared the article, and they were basically talking to them. But they talked about, well, when I was because I guess he was retired. When I was a firefighter, I let him know that, oh, I'll teach you anything you want to know, but you've got to ask. And it's like, how do they know what they don't? How do they know what they don't know? How do they know what they need to get better at? If you're not there with them, guiding them through that process, it's just such a we can so quickly justify any little, even tinge of a bad attitude or a bad perspective. We can justify it so quickly in our own mind. And it's easy to do. And I guarantee you, I probably do it 1,000 times a day. So I'm not throwing judgment out. But when these things come about to where I see them, I want to share them, and I want to really challenge people to look inside themselves and figure out where they have these skewed perspectives. That same comment talked about, all you got to do is come find me, and we'll go do it. And I'm like, that's the problem nowadays. It's usually okay. Two things. If it's hard to find you, it's because people are getting really good at hiding, or you're not easy. You're not hard to find because I know you're going to be in that chair all day, so I know where to find you. But still, it's just like you got to do it, and then I will help you. And I get that they have to show some effort, and they need to show some ability to take responsibility for their own knowledge and skill level. But how are they going to truly learn that if we don't teach them the importance of it? We have to teach them the importance of keeping our skills at the highest level that they can be. We have to teach them the importance of staying up on any kind of research that is coming out and critiquing it and testing it out, putting it in practice so that it's not just theory or words on paper. If we aren't modeling these things to them, how are they ever going to become better? That's not something we can put on the younger generation anymore. We have got to take responsibility for that. Now, if you're out there every day pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're not getting anything back, and you're not getting any effort, and that is what you're seeing still, okay, I I don't blame you for having a negative attitude towards that situation. But you've got to put that work in. That is your responsibility. That is our responsibility. And again, the title of it is wait, are we the problem? And I am right there. I am in that generation that we're the power cone, combination nozzle, doing searches in the elephant trunk line. That's my generation. That's how we learned it. And just to be completely transparent, it was probably only 5 years ago when I started realizing how far behind I was, and how lacking my knowledge and skills in this job was. And so that time period from that point to now, I promise you, I've learned 1,000 times more than I ever learned in the 15, 16 years before that. And I still have so far to go. I am not an expert on anything, but that's that's the line in the sand. If you're in that generation that I'm speaking of, my fire service generation, that senior group, and you haven't gone beyond the elephant trunk search line, guys, it's time. It's time to get better. You're so far behind. It's truly embarrassing, but that's okay. It's okay because you can change that now. It's okay to only know what you know and to not know what you don't know. But when there's so many resources out there to learn and to grow and to help you get better, it's no longer okay to just sit around day after day, shift after shift, month after month, year after year, just stagnant. It's not okay. There's too much at stake. There's too much responsibility that we have to those that we are here to serve, those that we are here to lead, those that we are here to care for. We have got to do better. So I'm going to cut it right here and let you guys go about your day. I really appreciate your time. Like I said, please give that article a read. I will try to put the link in the notes. If you want, you can go to the website or my website. That's Crew First with a 1ST, crew1st culture.com. Go to the top, there is a content tab, and I believe the first tab within it is articles, and it's the first one right there. You can click on there. You can go to fire engineering in their features section. It's probably a few down now, or just go in fire engineering and search my name and it'll come up. Lots of ways to find it. If you're on social media, I've posted on Facebook as well. And so please check that out and let me know what you think. And let's make this thing better than it was, because that's why we're here. And that's what's expected of us. That's what we should all want. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, for those that have read or will read the article. And I just appreciate all your support and all of you that reach out. So thank you very much. Enjoy your day, and I will see you next time. And until then, stay humble and do work.